So that's why I think gold revaluation could be very close. And I think, things are getting very interesting. And revaluing gold could be a way to bring the economy back from kind of a bad recession. And that's been done before. It was done back in 1933-34 by Roosevelt in the depths of the Great Depression. He, of course, did it a bit differently because back then gold was part of the monetary system, so he had to kind of force people, the gold confiscation, bring in all the gold and make it illegal. And then in 1934 he revalued it from $20.67 to $35, and that windfall was used for all the government spending and the New Deal.
Mario Innecco claims that even when warning flags are flashing everywhere, the majority of people continue to ignore them. According to Innecco, the true threat is developing covertly in the economy's basis while the news focuses on politics and stock market highs. He cautions that important areas of the financial system, such as the bond market and the banking industry, are exhibiting the same stress patterns that show up just before a significant change. And there are more issues than just economic ones this time. They are structural, political, and intricately linked to a fast evolving world. According to Innecco, governments may soon turn to gold, the longest stabilizer in history, as countries battle inflation, debt, and dwindling confidence. He added that governments frequently resort to extreme measures when forced into a situation like this. Mario thinks we might be closer to a significant reset than most analysts want to acknowledge, whether that means emergency liquidity, unexpected policy changes, or even a revaluation of gold to rebuild confidence in the system. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more insights into gold, silver, and precious metals investing. Share your thoughts on the market in the comments below.
So back to gold revaluation, and this has been a topic we've been talking about quite a bit since the beginning of the year, mainly because in January we found out that a lot of physical gold was flowing back to the U.S. over, I think, 400 tons, and it could have been more. And a lot of people speculate that it's and it started in December, and people speculate that with Trump coming into power, that he would have to bring the gold back to do an audit of Fort Knox and then revalue the gold, and that's highly possible. I think there's still a lot of gold flowing into the U.S. Whether there's 8,133.5 metric tons or about 261 million troy ounces in the Treasury vaults, it is questionable, but I think it's something people will I think they'll do it, though. Even Judy Shelton, who I've had on the channel, who's written a book, Good as Gold, which I've also talked about here, in which she says they should start issuing treasury bonds backed by gold that could be redeemable at maturity by gold, and that would have like a call option on the price of gold. So it would kind of put a straitjacket, hopefully, on government spending. She thinks that we need an audit, and she thinks revaluation would be a good thing. So why did I say I think revaluation is closer than most people might think? Well, I think there's a few things hanging over the economy, the financial system, the government shutdown. I saw that it's now affecting internal domestic flights in the U.S. It could affect international flights as well, because the federal agencies don't have the money to pay for the flight controls, or the people who do all the controls for the flights. And I heard that hundreds of flights are being canceled. That's going to affect everything, and the federal government, of course, funds a lot of programs in all aspects and sectors of the economy. That's draining liquidity from everything, less people getting paid, and that's why I think the stock market is wobbling a little bit. And we've also seen a problem in the credit market with the shadow banking companies that have collapsed out of the blue, like First Brands, what's the other one, Tricolor, and there could be many others. And commercial real estate is still not out of the out of the woods. We've seen that banking reserves are dropping to very low levels, mainly because of this liquidity and the government shutdown. But I saw that the Senate, the Democrats offered a deal to stop the shutdown. I think it was to extend benefit payments or something that the Republicans wanted to cut for a year, and the Republicans rejected that. So it will be interesting to see what happens on Monday when the markets reopen. Because I think the rally at the end of the day yesterday was because people thought there would be a deal, but it doesn't look like there is, or maybe there is. You can comment below. And so back to gold revaluation. Yeah, that could really damage the economy. The stock market crashing, the economy is running on the stock market. Even President Trump said that the economy is also booming because of AI, all the AI data centers. That, how does that help the bottom 50? They don't really work in these data centers. And AI is contributed to more than half of GDP growth recently in the U.S. in the second quarter, I think. So it's an economy that even Jay Powell, in his latest FOMC press conference, noted that, there's two economies, one at the top where people are benefiting from AI and asset price inflation, and the other one where the bottom 50 are suffering, that they're having the cost of living going up. And I think that's why that guy in New York won that election, the mayoral election. I'm not saying I agree with him. I don't really know much about him, but I've seen a lot of bad stuff, and it's probably true. But he focused on, people having a tough time coping.
Mario Innecco cautions that the U.S. government may use one of its most drastic emergency measures, a gold revaluation, if the stock market experiences a significant decline. After forcing people to turn in their gold, President Roosevelt increased the official price per ounce from roughly $20 to $35. The government's gold holdings immediately surged in value as a result of that one action, giving Washington a significant financial boost that helped finance the New Deal during the Great Depression. Today, the same mechanics are still in use. The government can improve its balance sheet without creating additional currency or taking on more debt by merely increasing the official dollar price of gold. According to Innecco, the math under the current system is considerably more spectacular. The Treasury might gain about $1 trillion in value if the United States set the price of gold at $4,200 per ounce. Raising it to $20,000 per ounce may release almost $5 trillion, which would be a huge buffer to keep the financial system stable in a crisis. Make sure to like, subscribe, and click the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload new content. We really appreciate your support.
So, yes, if that were to happen in the stock market, big correction in the stock market, revaluing gold could be a way to bring the economy back from kind of a bad recession, and that's been done before. It was done back in 1933-34 by Roosevelt in the depths of the Great Depression. He, of course, did it a bit differently because back then gold was part of the monetary system, so he had to kind of force people, the gold confiscation, bring in all the gold and make it illegal. And then in 1934 he revalued it from $20.67 to $35, and that windfall was used for all the government spending and the New Deal. Yeah, of course, I don't believe in that government intervention. That's Keynesian and even socialist. And it's ironic, isn't it, that President Trump could do that if the economy falls off a cliff, instead of asking the Fed to do QE and the government indebting itself even more. They would have a windfall, let's say at $4,200, it would be $1 trillion windfall. Isn't that much, right? But if they revalued gold to $20,000, that would be a $5 trillion windfall, and with no QE needed. That's one way to look at the gold revaluation. The other thing that could happen, and one of my friends told me this recently, is that the Supreme Court is going to make a ruling. I don't know when it is, but it could be any time. That the tariffs are unconstitutional, and that would put the cats amongst the pigeons. It would lead to a massive, I think, correction in the stock market as well. It would lead to the Treasury having to reimburse hundreds of billions in tariffs that importers have paid. It would, ruin Trump's program. The deficit would rise. So, yeah, gold revaluation would be like the only thing left for him to do. And some people might say, oh, this is you gold bugs talking about this, but and that you're wishing this and that's never going to happen. But it's happened 4 times in history. 1835, Andrew Jackson revalued gold from, I think, $19.39 to $20.69. 1934, President Roosevelt revalued from 2067 to 35. And in 72, President Nixon revalued from 35 to 38. And then the year after, he revalued it from 38 to 42.22, which is where we are right now. And that's only worth $11.1 billion. So, yeah, 100 times that to 4,000 would be, of course, 1.01 trillion. So that's why I think gold revaluation could be very close. And I think, things are getting very interesting. And what else is going on in terms of, let's say the UK, my viewers in the UK and the budget? Well, it's not going to be any good, is it? They only seem to be like the Labour government. They're like a hammer, and everything to them seems like a nail. And the hammer, of course, is taxes. They don't think about cutting the size of government, cutting taxes. But again, they can't, because the backbenchers, they want all the government spending because the people who voted for them, that's what they want.
According to Mario Innecco, there has been a subtle but significant change taking place behind the scenes. Since December, hundreds of tons of actual gold have been returning to the United States, probably in excess of 400 tons. This is linked to the impending Trump government, according to several commentators. Trump might be under pressure to audit Fort Knox, confirm the exact amount of gold held by the United States, and perhaps revalue gold as part of a significant financial reset if he takes office again. According to Innecco, there is still uncertainty regarding the accuracy of the official figure of 8,000 metric tons. An audit is politically enticing just because of this uncertainty. Additionally, he cites concepts from Judy Shelton, who has made appearances on his channel. According to Shelton, the United States should start issuing treasury bonds backed by gold that may be redeemed in gold when they mature. These bonds would have a sort of call option on rising gold prices and function as an internal brake on government expenditure. Mario thinks that Shelton's support for both a thorough audit and a possible revaluation demonstrates how well accepted the concept is becoming. Therefore, does Innecco believe that a gold revaluation is more likely than most people think? Due to the fact that the US economy is being simultaneously squeezed from several angles. Due to agencies' inability to pay air traffic staff, hundreds of domestic flights have been cancelled as a result of the government shutdown, which is already interfering with daily life. He claims that the stock market is already beginning to falter as a result of the breakdown in fundamental services, which depletes the economy's liquidity since fewer workers get paid, which results in lower spending. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications so you're always up to date. Thanks for watching.